Go back.
All right. We're up.
We are live.
Yes, ma'am. Hey, what's up, everybody? Wealth Building Wednesday. We're here once again to just try to impart a little bit of knowledge and a little wisdom that we may have, and looking for people that are interested in building wealth and a couple of the key principles. And I know this week we're just kind of going over, just recapping everything that we've done for the prior month. This is the first week of February, Black History Month. What a wonderful month, even though I believe Black history is every day. It's not just 1 month out of the year, but we celebrated this month, and that's a great thing. So,
yes. Well, I think today is a great day for just a conversation. You know, I think, yes, let's do the review of what we've learned so far, what we've done. Mm-hmm. I have some people keeping me posted on some of their activities, which is great, and just holding them accountable. And it feels good to be a part of their story, to hold them accountable as well. So I guess first thing that we probably need to talk about is one of the first episodes that we did. And that is about mindset. Do you remember that episode?
Yeah, I do. I mean, mindset is the first key principle really to anything, getting yourself in the right mind frame to tackle whatever goal or whatever objective it is that you're looking to reach.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Mindset is the key. And what we talked about first was building the mindset of just focusing on things that you want. Okay, so programming your mind to not only focus on the good things that you want, but also to invite that into your just your space. Mm-hmm. You know, so I learned a lot in the last, I'd say 5-6 years about the power of mindset. So one of the things that I was asking people to do was do a vision board. Now, I don't know how many people did the vision board or completed it, but it takes some time. You don't have to do it all at once. But the first step is getting the material. Okay, so I had an example of my vision board. Do you remember what my vision board has?
Well, the places that you wanted to go, some of the your travel plans, some of your money plans as far as how much money you wanted in your bank account, mm-hmm. The kind of car you wanted to drive, the house you want to live in.
Yeah. Well, he's paying attention, you guys. That's good. Because I think that the person that you're with, your partner, should know your vision as well. Because mm-hmm. we don't want to be doing something and be on different pages. Like, say I put a lake house on my vision board and you put, I don't know,
a ranch house in the middle of the woods somewhere.
Yeah, then we'll be totally different. Not to say that we can't have both things. Maybe mm-hmm. one will be our main house, the other is our ranch house. But I feel if you're going to make your plans mm-hmm. and you're going to include the person that you're with, it's best for them to create that board with you, or create your board. They create their board, you create your board, and you talk about the things that are on your board. So we hadn't really done the board together. I remember we made a plan to do the board, you know, with all the kids, but I don't know if you were present that day. But
no, I wasn't here.
Oh, see, but you know, it's still in all, he knows what's on my board, which is awesome. Mm-hmm. Okay. Somebody said the other day, I forgot who it was that came here, and I said, oh, it's Keisha.
Mm-hmm. My sister.
So Curtis's sister said, I got money all over my board. And I said, yes, because I'm a money magnet.
That's it. Yeah. That's why you married me, right?
I hope you're laughing out there. So let's see. So what is another way that we can improve our mindset and get it together? I think we also talked about this today in our meeting.
Oh my goodness! Now you're trying to throw things out there to make me recap and something from.
But this is just a conversation.
Yeah. Okay. So, from our morning meeting, I do not remember off the top of my head. I've had so many things go on throughout the day that the morning meeting was at the meeting, and it pushed me through there, and it ended there.
Yes. So now I know what he does with our morning meeting information.
No, not at all. But because I embrace everything that I do. So the thing is, it's like I make it a part of me. So when it has to come out, then it does. So it's just like a natural effect.
You see my face, right?
It's a natural effect.
Well, one of the things to encourage mindset is also affirmations. I learned that pretty late, in life, talking about just affirming my life, affirming what I want to be, who I want to become. They say I am is one of the most powerful languages that you can use when you're looking to improve your life. The power I am, those two words, it's amazing. Joel Osteen, he wrote a book, and I believe it's called I Am. I did read the book. It was some time ago, but it was The Power of I Am. And it's a cool book because every day it gives you something to read about the power of I Am. So you may want to check it out. I'm sure it's on Amazon. You can get it there. So I Am. There's also, by the way, on YouTube, there are like 21 day I Am challenges that you can do. And I invite you to try it. Try it, see what happens. I think the most powerful time that it happens is when you may be in front of the mirror, because you're looking at yourself face to face and saying, listen, I am strong. I am confident. And you're looking yourself straight in the eye. And I think that does it all the time. Okay. Any other ways of mindset that we talked about?
No,
books?
Not, well, there's tons of books. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, we went over that. We touched on, and that's about, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, he had his, not to say poor dad, but the dad that wasn't as wealthy as the other dad that he had in his life, and kind of instructed him two different ways. So he had, when you get things from two different perspectives, it definitely helps, envision what you could do, who you could be, and how to become. So
correct.
So it's all about exposure as well. That's the other thing, is what you're exposed to. If he had never been exposed to his rich dad, he would have never had the mindset of knowing how to set goals, about purchasing property and being, instead of somebody just telling you to go out and get a job, to be that entrepreneur, to be, your own boss, that you don't have to go to school and just get a job and come out and just get a job.
Absolutely. So it's, a lot of the mindset that we incur is because when we're younger, these are the things that we grow up around. And unless we get the exposure of people that are doing things differently, usually we don't know. I mean, for me also, Curtis just disappeared and reappeared. But a lot of the times we don't know. My exposure also was early on with Rich Dad, Poor Dad. When I read the book, it changed my mindset and caused, me to say, you know what, I got to get a house. So that's a great way of, reading. Reading is a great way of picking up things that people are doing that we may not even think about. Okay. So, and you're right, just being around people, different people,
change your circle, the circle of people that you continually keep within your sphere of influence. That sphere of influence is the thing, one of those things that kind of direct and mold and shape you to be what it is that you want to become. If you want to be, it's a saying, they say, if you hang out in the barbershop long enough, you're going to get a haircut. So if you hang around in the in the auto parts store, you're going to either be fixing cars or something like that. So the element of where you are kind of helps shape you. We're all products of our environment. Mm-hmm. So environment and, the thing that we're around all of the time, it makes a big part, a big difference in who we become.
Right. So, something just is telling me right now to dive a little bit deeper into that. Mm-hmm. And, being that it's Black History Month, I want to talk about the fact that, culturally, our circumstances, our cultures look a lot different. Mm-hmm. And this is no surprise. And it's mainly because of history, where we came from, things that we've, had to endure. And a lot of times the differences are so great that even if there are doctors and lawyers in a certain Black family, mm-hmm. what we don't understand, what a lot of people don't understand, which I've read, that family that is doing well, really well. So let's say there's, I don't know, 2 generations of Black family that is doing really well, outstanding. Mm-hmm. They have to now reach back and help the people that are not doing as well. Okay. So it's proven that our economy mm-hmm. is, yes, we're ahead. Yes, we might be making.
Right. You may know some people that are, making 6-figure incomes, mm-hmm. but we are still the minority in that, as far as the socioeconomic mm-hmm. Struggle for African Americans.
Right. And partly because we're reaching back, mm-hmm. It's because we have to reach, and sometimes we have to reach really far back.
Exactly. We got so far back we disappear, Yeah.
So, and so not only do we have to now pay off student loans and things like that, but now we have to also pay mortgages for people and things. So there's not a whole lot of wealth back there mm-hmm. for us to dive, into to assist us
in getting established.
Yeah,
that establishment part is kind of the hardest thing that us as African Americans kind of find is once one of us get ahead, we're always looking to that one that got ahead, and then everybody just pulling on that coattail of that person. Mm-hmm. And it makes it very difficult for that person to even advance, to get a little bit further, mm-hmm. to even, help those other ones that are trying to do something that are holding on.
Yeah. So it's a cycle.
Yeah. It's a vicious cycle.
So that's why it's so important to think about wealth as not just for you, mm-hmm. but for generations to come. And one of the ways that we talked about that during this series is leaving wealth to family. Mm-hmm. If you have a will, you have something, make sure that it's not just left, to the government, make sure it's left to a family member, mm-hmm. And pass on wealth, and make sure you have insurance, life insurance, things like that.
Set up some mutual funds where you're saving money, putting money into that is that's continually growing. Not all of the time is it gonna benefit everybody the same way. But you can start from wherever you are. I think that's the biggest thing, to start from where you are and build upon that.
Absolutely. So we touched on mindset a little bit. Mm-hmm. Right. So that's what we did.
That was the beginning, our beginning
That was the beginning.
Beginning episode.
And then we talk about goals. Okay. You know, setting your goals up for success. And one of the ways, of course, going back to that whole vision board, setting your goals in order. We talked about big goals, small goals. We talked about how you can basically narrow it down, minimize it, so it's not so overwhelming. So now you have a goal. Now let's get a plan together. And your plan, in order for it not to be all over the place, we need to make it structured in bits and pieces. You know, how does a mouse eat an elephant?
How does a person eat an elephant?
Why is a person gonna eat an elephant?
Not a person. It says, how do you eat an elephant?
Okay, how do you eat an elephant? I thought it was a mouse that eats the elephant.
It's not the mouse.
I don't know. I always get those things mixed up, but it's comical to me, and you know.
Yeah, it's comical to me as well when you say it. Because then you end up messing me up. But anyway, it's how do you eat an elephant? It's one bite at a time. You know, you break it down into small pieces until you can consume the whole thing.
Yes. And we
talked the same thing when it comes to setting your goals. And one of the analogies was SMART, you know, a SMART technique, making sure that it's specific, making sure that it's measurable, it's achievable, it's relevant to where you want to be, and that you set a certain amount of time that it takes you to get there. So again, the easiest concept to think about it is because most people want to lose some weight. So it's like, okay, so if I want to lose 50 pounds or 20 pounds, you know, in what's the time frame, and making sure that it's a measurable amount, that it's a realistic amount, not to say that you can, you know, lose, you know, 50 pounds in a week. That's kind of not happening.
No, it's not happening.
No, I was about to say, I don't know, unless you
starve yourself.
You starve yourself and you're going to the doctor.
You be passing out
That's
in the middle of the street. Oh, Lord. And everybody will think you have the corona. But anyway, okay. So, yes, make sure it's specific. So if you're going to lose a certain amount of weight, make sure it's the pounds and the date and how many times you're going to exercise, or maybe it's just one small thing. So let's chop it up into bits and pieces, and let's think about that one small thing that you can do first. And, you know, that one small thing that I can do first is probably get better sleep. Okay. Because if we're talking about a lifestyle here, it's not just one thing. So maybe it's going to bed a little bit earlier and getting some more rest. You did that this week. And maybe next week, it could be, I don't know, walking for 15 minutes, you know, and make that a goal for a week. And then 30 minutes.
Add something more to it. Keep adding more to it.
And that method is basically called the 12 weeks. So we chunk it down into quarters, right? So 4 quarters. So every 3 months, you make a new goal for yourself. And I think that's a great way. The book is called 12 Week. I also sent out some information about that and how you document your 12 week. Oh, we also sent out information about the one thing. So what's the concept of the one thing?
Is doing, oh my goodness, you keep putting me right on the spot. That one thing that makes everything else, oh my goodness, that makes everything else
easier or unnecessary.
Easier or unnecessary, yes.
Yes, easier or
unnecessary. I just know the concept. I just know the concept of it, and I just do it.
Yep. So as Gary Keller and Jay Papasan say in their book, The One Thing, if there was one thing I could do such that doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary, what would that one thing be? So think about that every day. What is that one thing that would get me to where I need to be? I want to, let's say I want to go on a trip. Okay, let's talk about that.
Oh, boy.
All right, let's talk about our trip. I think that's fun.
I think it is. Yeah, it's a kind of a funny situation we got ourselves in right now. Well, we're gonna just kind of put it out there. We planned a trip for next week, and come to find out that we were going to be leaving the country, and found out today that our passports are expired. So doesn't look like we're going to be able to leave the country right away. But I went online and tried to find a couple of places. I mean, I don't want to go into all of the detail, but hopefully we'll still be able to get our trip planned. It's gonna take a little. I don't know what do you want to call it?
Finagling.
A little finagling to get everything done.
Mm.
To try to find a place that it will expedite our passports during COVID times. So that's one of the things. But the thing about it though is the one thing is we're trying to go on a trip, and you can't let anything stop you from planning. So you have to try to, sometimes there's going to be some improvisation that you're going to have to improvise to make your plan, to get it done, to get that one thing done.
But I think my one thing should have been making sure the passport was updated.
Yeah, we could have definitely did that. I mean,
that could have been the one thing that we did first. Break it down. It down. So that's fun. That's fun. It's interesting, when don't set out the proper plan in order to do something. I mean, and then boom, there's something that gets in your way. But again, with the right mindset, you can keep going until, they say the show is over.
That's it. Well, we're going to try our best to make the trip still happen.
Yeah. So just remember one thing: a dream written down with a date becomes a goal. A goal broken down into steps becomes a plan. A plan backed by action makes your dreams come true. Okay, so we'll leave you with that. And also, I remember, let's go back to people you should surround yourself with. Because you did talk about
the sphere of influence.
Your sphere. So what should your sphere be?
Whatever your goal is. I mean, what is it that you're looking to achieve? What do you want to be? Where do you see yourself? So if you, again, I mean, it just depends on I mean, give me something that somebody would want to be.
I'm just saying, what should your, remember, Pastor Byron Turton used to always talk about your top 5. Remember? Who's your top 5?
Who's in your top 5?
So, like, what kind of people should be in your top 5? When you say it depends on who, the goal you're going for and things like that, but what type of people? Because when I think about top 5, Oprah is in my top 5. She's not a mentor that is right here in my face. I can't touch her or anything like that. But what I do is when I need some encouragement, I may go online and see, one of her videos she's made, speeches or something like that. And that's mentorship for me. Let's say maybe you're in business, you need a business coach. A coach should be in your top 5.
Absolutely. Or I mean, and the great thing about now is that you got like the internet, you have so many motivational speakers that you could just hit YouTube and, take on their interviews, their discussions, and listen to that and be motivated to, because sometimes that was one of the things from this morning's meeting, what is it to get motivated? See, I mean, I do be listening, but but like I said, I mean, the things that are going to motivate you, sometimes, you just need a little inspiration sometimes to get you to that next point.
That is correct. Yes, you do. So let's see. So other top 5, I would say I would probably want to see someone in my industry, like you were saying,
Right.
that is at a high level that I can call on to say, hey, you know, I know you're at a high level at this, and, you know, I'm watching you from afar, and I'd like to know if we can have some lunch. You know, if I can treat you to lunch, just to pick your brain a little bit, you know, because a 30-minute hour conversation can totally start a friendship and a lifelong friendship. Okay. I've had sometimes with clients, you know, 30-minute, an hour, you know, stop to get some lunch while we're showing property or something like that. And that's turned into a magnificent relationship. So with that being said, you know, look up to see who's doing what you want to do, you know, and then see if you can possibly book some time with them. Okay.
That's a great idea. That's a great way to look at it as well. You know, to have a mentorship, you know, mentor leveraging your time as well with other people of, you know, getting you to where you want to be.
Absolutely. And also friendships. Okay. So let's talk about friendships. Now, for me, you know, I feel that there are certain friends that I can really, and it's not like a big amount. Okay. It's very tiny that I will sit there and say, okay, I can think of one in particular that I will go to if I'm having a problem, you know, spiritually, you know, emotionally. I will go to this person and say, you know what, I want to bounce this idea off of you. Okay, so make sure you have the friendship with someone that you can bounce an idea off of or a problem, and they won't be judgmental. And not only that, because they are open to you, you have to remember to be open to them. So don't just be a dumper, okay? Go to them and also be a cleaner, you know, say, can I, you know, how is your week going? You know, and that is important, and it forms lifetime friendships, you know, that, you know, are not easily breakable, you know, over silly things. So friendships is very important, you know, along the way. Okay. We didn't touch on that, but, you know, we did talk about the last time we did talk about mentors, coaches, and leveraging. You know, we did talk about that. So as far as leveraging, if someone is, someone can help you with, let's say, the cleaning of your home, you know, while you're working, or maybe you can, like I leveraged this week. I leveraged pretty good. Yeah. I got the HelloFresh. To me, I thought that was pretty good.
That was honestly, that was phenomenal. Sure, but I ain't giving nobody no plugs over here. HelloFresh ain't paying me. If HelloFresh,
I'll give you a code though. I'll give you a code. Just call me for a code.
Listen, if HelloFresh wants to sponsor us and sponsor our show, then I will definitely. I'll give you our plugs every day. I will give you one quick plug though. It was really good. It's a great way to have meal prep. And have it ready, and really quick meals, really good. So that's my only time that I'm going to give HelloFresh a plug free of charge.
Well, you can call me and I'll give you a code that will get you a discount, a huge discount. Okay. I also just sent it to one of my customers, which was really cool. So,
but definitely doing things to leverage your time is another key principle to building wealth as well. I mean, I remember when I used to be out there on Saturday mornings cutting the grass.
Oh, yes.
And, you know.
You took pride in it, though.
I did. I take a lot of pride in what I do, but that's the problem, too, because I'd be out there for 4 or 5 hours cutting the yard, making sure the hedges are all trimmed and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
But now I can take that time doing something else, pay somebody else to do it. And, you know, and really the thing that got me was my yard guy, who was a friend of ours. He said to me, well, how much is your time worth to you?
Mm-hmm.
So when you find out how,
I thought I said that to you.
Well, you probably did too. You probably
give
did.
Somebody else my credit. Well, hey Joe, he's giving you my credit. I'm gonna give Joe a shout out too.
So you're giving everybody all these free plugs. Anyway, I'm charging. I charge for everything. I charge for everything. But no, seriously, leveraging your time is definitely a key thing. But like I was saying, I mean, when he had asked me that, I had to really think about it, because it was just like, you know what, I'm spending, honestly, sometimes it could take 6 hours to, by the time you pull out the lawnmower, clean up and put everything back, and you're out there half the day. You don't spend half the day that you could have been doing something else that was a little bit more productive, and you still getting the task completed.
Yeah.
So that was one thing that I'm really glad that I have leveraged my time, and I don't do it anymore.
At all. He's not even looking at the lawn. I gotta say, baby, aren't there a lot of weeds in there? He said, like, yup.
You better pick up the phone, call him, and tell him to
yard guy.
Call the yard guy. But no, I get out there every now and then. I had to lay down some sod. I did that. So.
Mm-hmm. About 10 minutes. Yep. Okay, well, let's move on. But leveraging is a great way also to make sure you stay on task for your goals. One thing I did want to say, it's on one of my papers. I challenge anyone to take 66 days and do something. Then the one thing it also talks about 66 days, taking 66 days of consistent activity. So whether it's exercising, whether it's learning to leverage, because that could be hard. That was a pull and a tug for you too, learning to do that. You held on to that for a long time. So, whatever it is, 66 days would be a good number to stick to something to see if it works.
That's true. Okay.
And to reach your goals. Okay. So what else did we talk about here? Move on from that.
Well, let's see. We talked about, let's just do a quick little recap again. Well, we talked about the mindset, goal setting. And I remember last week. Time blocking. We talked about time blocking, scheduling things, and what was it? We used the GPS or?
The GPS. Okay. That's setting, you're focusing on one thing, one goal for the year. And then you have 3 priorities. Okay. And then 5 strategies in each of those priorities. So if you need the sheet or you need explanation on that, give me a call. I will be glad to help with that. We talked about long-term goals versus short-term goals.
Okay.
And I also sent a paper for that. We talked about equity. And that was the last.
That was the last.
The most recent one.
That was, yes.
We talked about equity. What it means to have equity. And we also, actually, our financial advisor was on the call giving a budget. He gave a budget sheet for people. So to us, and I'll send you the budget sheet to kind of keep things together. But equity is important. And you had came up with that topic.
Well, because equity has really been a foundational word here lately. Everybody's talking about equity of, having ownership of something, because the meaning of equity, when it comes to financing, it is ownership of an asset that may have debts or other liabilities attached to them. But equity is measured for accounting purposes by subtracting the liabilities from the value of the asset. So, it's about bringing equality as well. So it was like equality versus equity. That was one of the things that we talked about, and the difference between equality and equity. You know, although both of them promote fairness and equality achieves this through treating everyone the same regardless of the need, while equity achieves this through treating people differently depending on the need.
Okay.
You know, so it's really about getting people established. I think when I think of the word equity, I think of establishment and starting that, because like I said, that's the foundational piece to get someone once you have ownership, you're kind of like saying that you have a seat at the table, you know. And if you're not at the table and everybody else is making the decisions for you, you have no equity. You don't have anything where you don't have a say so.
Right. Yeah, that's very true. Very true. So that was a big topic last week, and we actually enjoyed talking about it last week. I am a chairperson for an agent leadership committee at Keller Williams for realtors, and that is a big topic for us as well. So we're really engaged in social equality and equity and inclusion, okay, and diversity. So honestly, it's something that I think everyone should think about it in their daily walk, their daily communication, their daily conversations with people. You know, think about what may set us apart and how we can make each other better. Okay. And also think about, how can I not only have equity for today, but for generations to come? I remember Steve Harvey. He's going to say that I'm giving credit again to people, but
no, we can give Steve credit. I'll give Steve credit all day long.
I remember Steve Harvey said that, oh, my grandchildren are going to know who I am, most likely. He said, and that's pretty cool. He said, but what about my great-grandchildren? And what about my great-great-grandchildren? And then what about my great-great-great-grandchildren when I'm long far gone? And I thought that was interesting. And it was notable because he wants to leave a legacy for them so they know, they remember his name.
Absolutely.
Like Papa Steve Harvey got us here.
Absolutely.
You know, and I thought that was pretty cool. So I think when we're going through life, we need to think about it just like that. You know, is it, in me doing this, are my great grandchildren going to know my name? Yeah, you know, because that's leaving a legacy.
That is that's a true legacy when you can, you know, go back 10 generations and say, well, you know, all of the, like Tyler Perry is going to leave a long legacy for what he's done. You know, the piece of land that he just purchased and built his studio. I mean, that studio will probably be there for 100 years to come. Yeah. And you know, even if
land, people.
That's it. Well, that's definitely the thing. You know, I mean, having that resource, and that's where equity comes into play, because equity is a resource. You know, of establishment, and like there was an article where it said, building home equity is an important part of home ownership because it's a resource that you can convert to cash when an expense arises. So it gives you some sort of collateral. You know, I forget who it was. I think it was Madison, or somebody had asked me. It was somebody recently just asked me about, you know, years ago, because credit just got established. She was like, "Oh, credit." Whoever it was, I think it was Madison, had said that, you know, credit only came about like in the 1980s. So that she was like, how did they measure, you know, your I forgot what exactly. Yeah, like how did they measure you know, your profitability or whatever to be able to purchase something? You know, because credit wasn't established at that point. Credit didn't get established until, I think, in, like I said, the early 80s or late 70s or something like that.
Yeah, but did they look at you and say?
Well, it was about you having collateral. You know, when you went to the bank, it was like, well, what do you have that's worth something that we're willing to loan you something? So it's now we have credit. We have credit agencies who establish that, and they, you know, kind of give you a FICO score, a number to say like, okay, well, this person has good credit. They paid their bills on time. But years ago, we didn't have that.
Right.
You know, so it was like, you know, you got a piece of land, you got a car, you got, you know, what do you have? And that is where that equity piece comes in. What do you have that's valuable?
Absolutely.
Why should I invest into you? You know, that's the other thing. I mean, and it's about making, and that's what I tell other people too. It's about making yourself equitable. You become an equity.
Oh, I thought I had on my shirt. Think like a CEO.
That's it. Think like a CEO. That's it. You know, you have to be able to make yourself equitable so that people would want to invest in you. You know, what is it about you that people are going to see something and say, well, you know what? Why would I give you anything? You know, what do you do? What are you going to do with it?
Yes.
So, and that's why I tell people about educating yourself, you know, knowing, and one thing, you know, I always told the kids before they say something, you know what you're talking about, you know, know before you speak.
Right.
You know, so don't talk about something that you don't know anything about, because you're going to be talking to somebody who knows something about something, and they're gonna be like, this fool don't know nothing.
Well, hopefully they won't say this fool don't know nothing.
Well, that's what I would say. That's what I would say. I'd be like, this fool don't know what the hell they talking about.
Oh my gosh.
So there's certain things that I know stuff about, and if somebody comes and they're telling me, you know, how to put up sheetrock, or how to lay tiles on the floor, or how to install an elevator, and they tell me that they starting with the roof, I'm gonna say, yeah, this person don't know what they talking about. They don't know where to head from their tail. So,
all right. So now that you've heard Curtis preach, oh my goodness. Well, I think that was, you know, just what you said about equities on target. You know, it's on target. We need equity. You know, I said buy land, you know, because, you know, you may not do something with it today, maybe not tomorrow, but look at where it can bring you. I had someone I met with the other day that actually had purchased some land probably about 10 years ago here. And they went to sell it. The city wants it, and they went to sell it. And I'm sure they're getting millions for it. So, you know, it's just the land. They like how the land looked. It was high and dry. You know, that's what we call, you know, land that you don't have to worry about the swamp land. It was high and dry, and they decided to purchase it. And probably for pennies on the dollar, you know, and it's just like, now it's wonderful. They have all this equity for their family.
Absolutely.
You know? Yeah.
Okay.
So I think what's going to happen is we're going to have people on after, and they're going to be talking to us like we're still on.
Yeah, that's usually what happens. I'm like, honestly, where is everybody today? I don't see any comments, or, you know, and like,
I'm wondering if we should change the time to a little bit later too, since people, you know, are working and all of that. So maybe we'll put out a poll there to see if a survey or something like that, to see if a later works better, you know, for people, because usually we have a lot more people on and things like that. So I'm thinking that's what we should probably do.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Suzette just joined us.
Hey, Suzette.
How's it going, Suzette? Another wonderful realtor in our office. Let's see. Yes. Now everybody wants to come as soon as we're getting ready to go off. That's
why I think we should change the time. We may consider next week we're off, but we may consider taking it an hour later. And this way people are you know, they're working all day. So maybe they're looking to kick back after they finish dinner and stuff like that, and ready to join the conversation, because we usually have more people on. So I think that's going to be something that we should consider doing.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Definitely.
So maybe we just try it out, you know?
We could try it out, you know.
Try it out, 7:00, the week after.
7 p.m. because next week's Valentine's week.
Yeah.
So you got anything special planned for your special someone?
You would ask me that on camera, would you?
Hey, why not?
Well, he has a chance.
Yeah, because I would figure I'll ask before you ask. So.
Oh, he see my vision board. I hope he's looking at that for Valentine's Day.
all the time. I kind of know. I know what you want. I know what you need. So.
Does anyone else have plans for Valentine's Day? Let's ask Suzette. I know she has.
Suzette, you got plans for Valentine's Day? Come on, talk to us, Suzette.
She's like, darn, am I the only one on here now?
Right?
Shouting me out. Oh my gosh. Okay, so
let's see. We had somebody else on. Okay. Well, we don't have any comments right now, so I don't know what else to I think we kind of went over everything that we had discussed, you know. Like I said, again, another quick little recap: mindset. Yeah. You know, having the right mindset, setting goals.
Time blocking.
Blocking.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if we mentioned that.
Yeah, we did. We mentioned that as well. And then, you know, where we last left off last week was about equity. Yeah. You know, establishing yourself and having something.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So I think that's it. Unless you want to ask us some questions or make some comments.
Yeah, last week was good. We had my boy Eric on, who was really interacting with us as well. Yeah. So that was really good. Mm-hmm. So, you know, but that's the thing. We look for the interaction because it's a lot easier to kind of feed the information that we've, you know, the little bit of wisdom that we might have, you know, that has helped establish us and to, you know, where we've started from to where we are now. I mean, you know, we've definitely advanced, and, you know, we definitely, we thank God for that. You know, sometimes it's not just, you know, our own doing. It's just, you know, it's a part of our faith.
Definitely not our own doing.
Yeah.
We would have jacked this up a long time ago. Yeah. Jacked it up over and over again. So it's definitely not our own doing. It's our faith that keeps us above water most times, and just, you know, striving and wanting to be the best people that we can be. Yeah. At least I can speak for me.
Well, it's the effort that we give, you know. I mean, we definitely you have to put in effort for whatever it is that you want to do. It ain't just, you know, sit and pray and say, oh, I want to be something that, you know, faith without works is dead. So you got to put in the work.
Even if it's like, you know, having a good marriage or having a good relationship. Why are you smiling?
Because you keep going. Keep going.
So just having a good marriage, having a good relationship, you know, you really have to pray on it. You have to work at it. It doesn't just happen. It's not the fairy books, you know, where this just happens. This conversation doesn't just happen. This is work. Yeah. You know, our relationship. I don't know anyone that doesn't have work. Maybe we should do a marriage retreat online. I think that'd be good too.
Yeah. Ooh, okay. That would be interesting. It'd be very interesting. I mean,
we do a lot of laughing, that's for sure. We do a lot of laughing. So, but anyway, I think we are close to the hour. Okay.
And then we get close to the hour. And like I said, more people are joining in. I see the Fullwoods on. Hey, James, Deke, that's what we call him. That's old Deacon Fullwood right there. So that's what he's gonna always be known as to me.
Yes, to me as well. Good to see you.
Good to see you on, Mr. Fullwood. All right. Well, like I said, I think we pretty much touched on everything. I don't
want to be a bore either.
Yeah. You know? No. I don't have too much more to say. I think I've given all that I've had
Yeah, I'm ready to eat dinner or something.
Sounds good to me. All right, people.
You guys.
Well, listen, again, next week we won't be here. We won't be here next week. We'll be the next week after. And I think we're going to move that time slot to the 7 p.m. time slot to kind of give people a chance to get on. And like I said, tell somebody about us. I mean, if there's anything that you want to discuss with us, shoot us an email, shoot us a text. Our information is everywhere. I'm sure you can find us. Look up the Grimes Group with Keller Williams on our Facebook page. Our information is there. So, shoot us an email. Let us know any topics that, of discussion that you may be thinking that will help you or maybe help somebody else that you know.
Yeah.
So, and like I said, we don't know everything. So, and we're definitely, if you feel like there's somebody that you would like us to try to bring on to the show, we've had our accountant on, we've had our financial advisor on. We do plan on
credit repair person.
We still plan on with the credit repair person. We still have
our
lender lined up. We have a couple of lenders that we work with. So, everybody has a little bit of information to impart to help you build wealth. That's what we want people to do. We want people to get into that mindset of growing their wealth, building a legacy, and having some equity. Mm-hmm. And like I said, equity is a major word everywhere you go. Trust me, you just listen out for it. You're going to hear that word equity. You're going to hear it on the news media. You're going to hear it all around you because we're in a season, I really believe, of people getting established and establishing themselves and building equity because we've gone through this COVID season.
Yep.
We've lost a lot of people. So people are trying to build back.
Yeah.
So, and the only way to do that is by having equity. Is having a piece of ownership. So really, that's why I said, trust me when I tell you the word equity. You're going to hear it everywhere you go.
I think we should even have an attorney.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds good.
Come on here as well.
That's a good idea. I got an attorney in mind.
I got a few.
I got a few.
I got a few. Every now and again, I throw him a couple.
All right. Anyway, I know it's time to go now.
Oh gosh.
She's talking about what she throws me. Okay. Alicia. Hey, Alicia. I see you just came on. Well,
hey, lady.
You're coming on kind of late there, girl. But not next week,
right.
but the week after.
Does my hair. She's checking me out. Make sure I'm all right.
Yeah, you're looking all right. Your hair looks great. Okay. Well, again, thank everybody for spending a little time with us. We had fun, as we normally do.
Oh, wait. I do want to throw it out there. My hairdresser, Alicia, she has created a product. And, Curtis don't like me giving no plugs without no money, but I got to give my girls. She has created a product that will freshen up your hair. It's a fragrance and it will freshen up your hair. And I think that's pretty cool. I ain't got none yet. I gotta go get some.
Oh, I just wanted to smell it and see. She said a fragrance. I said maybe I missed something.
You gonna put me out there, Alicia? Well, anyway, she's created that fragrance, and I think she is someone that is brilliant. She's always coming up with some great ideas. She has a salon called the Divine Beauty Lab. And people are, going there. Ladies are going there and coming out looking amazing, feeling amazing. I know I do every time I go. So just giving my girl a shout out there. So check her out. Divine Beauty Lab in Kissimmee.
Alicia, I'll get my check later.
Oh my gosh. Okay, you guys. Well, listen. Talk to you later. You have a wonderful evening. We're signing off, and not next week, but the week after, we will be having it at 7:00. Seems like more people are available at that time. Talk to you soon. Have a good night.
Have a good night, everybody.